sit in on the mastering session, which was awesome. And she described the title track "All the Feels" as Sam Smith meets Boys to Men, which I absolutely loved, and I'm definitely putting on a t-shirt like someday. And that's gonna be like the lead tagline. But I think that's just kind of like I think that just kind of comes from a mixture of his natural style and like because he does have this phenomenal voice that can do a lot of like bluesy and R&B things, and then I think that just combined with his influences and like a bit of my influences as well, that's just kind of the sound that came out. Is because in this case all of these songs would like, because when we first started putting these songs together, it was for the purpose of live performance. Like I didn't know at the time that I was going to be as involved in the project as I was going to be. I was just coming up with bass lines that could be played live or this guitar part. And then
right.
I actually, it's funny because I play both bass and guitar on Face to Face, but I cannot play the bass part on Face to Face. Every time I listen to it, I'm like amazed by it because I have so little recollection of it, because it was just like, it was written just for the purposes of filling out the recording. So I think it was just kind of because the songs came out of really a live setting, and that's kind of how they started. We wanted to, I think we like all of them have been like expanded beyond how they sound live, because we really wanted the live versions and the studio versions to be distinct. So that's why we have like drums and like additional like electric guitar. We have like piano on one of the tracks. It was for that reason. But I think it was just really keeping the focus on his songwriting and like his vocals, and having that sort of be the centerpiece, and then having everything in the arrangement just be to fill out and support that. So we didn't really want to go overboard. And I will say, I think certain elements of that, it was definitely like a mutual thing, but I think there were certain parts in particular that he would note came more from me. I think I had certain things that I was like, maybe we should like pull back on this a little bit. But yeah, just kind of wanting to have, because I think like a lot of the tracks, like Across the World in particular, jumps out as being very, very full in arrangement, but still wanting the vocals and the songs to be at the centerpiece of that. So I think that was just kind of our way of conveying that style and that range of influences, while still showcasing him as, not just like an engineer. What's cool about the EP is I think it's as much a statement about who he is as like an engineer and a producer as it is about like him as like a musician, a vocalist, like songwriter or arranger. Yeah. So I guess I'd say the same thing about me to the degree that I contributed to it as well.
Yeah, I feel like the first record I made was just me trying to like show that I could also engineer. It was kind of like, it's like, this is my business card. I'm doing the recording thing.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like almost as much a goal as the music itself, or if not more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I feel about it now, but it's been a bunch of years.
Right. I feel like we've we've definitely grown throughout the entire process, which I think is one reason why we're so excited to like jump to the second project, because it's like, the songs are there.
Use the inertia, just keep it going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
I think it's important.
Yeah, we've seen how much we've grown in the past year and a half, and it's like, okay, so like, let's just take everything we've learned and just start from there, and then use that as a jumping off point, instead of like now that we have like a year and a half worth of like collaboration and chemistry to build off of. So
just to give a little bit of context to what we just talked about, here's a brief clip from Face to Face by Isaiah Ashburn featuring Layla June.
Standing face to face, standing face to face, baby. I know love comes and goes, but please stay. let's go. No, it's low, watch the temperatures rise. But there's nothing like summer sun to keep me warm. Just like there is nothing like you, baby, to hold when that warmth is born. You and I will survive the cold winter nights, standing face to face.
Do you have any favorite creative tools to help you get inspired?
As far as like instruments,
it could be compressors, an instrument, it could be a delay, anything.
I mean, I don't know if I have like a favorite. There's certain like pedal companies that I'm like very fond of. Earthquaker Devices is I like they do some really incredible pedals. A sort of like game changer pedal that I recently acquired. It was actually I was lucky enough to get it through Wham, and it was actually donated to us from Eventide. The company was their Rose modulated delay pedal, and I actually just last week, like when I think it should be up on like YouTube and social media soon, but I recorded a little demo video of that guitar pedal because it's like a digital, like technically a digital delay pedal, but it runs like through an analog circuit and it has like all these like cool built-in modulation effects. So you could even just use it as like a straight up chorus pedal or like vibrato. And that's kind of, that's exciting for me just because like, I mean, I haven't really used it as like a compositional tool yet, although I probably will in the future. But as far as like getting to recreate, cause the processing of the bridge of the electric guitar from Face to Face was like sending it through 3 different, aux tracks, like 1 reverb and 2 different tape delays that were each like automated to high heavens with like just triggering on specific notes. And it was like this whole massive thing. And then I've like just so happened to acquire this pedal that does a really good job of like emulating it so I can kind of capture that in a live setting. But I mean, I think for me, just kind of like, I kind of always just naturally gravitate back to like my instruments. Like I have like my my fretless jazz bass. That was kind of a game changer instrument for me. And now I have like my my P bass that I love because I just love having a bass that you plug it in and it immediately sounds like Eric Avery, which has been my kind of was one of my lifelong dreams. So I think just kind of I've only recently acquired the means to really get a lot of gear and kind of actually have a sort of high production value setup. I feel like for a lot of the time when I was producing, I was working off of just kind of the bare essentials, whereas now I have like legit home studio setup that I can use for pretty much whatever I need to.
It's a good thing you got it before COVID hit.
Oh, it was after COVID. It was literally because of COVID, because I just kind of was putting it off because I had this amazing state of the art studio as a resource. So like, why would I spend any of my own money? And then, it was kind of a combination of like this collaboration and like, okay, I need to have like good monitors at home. So like I can at least listen to these mixes we're working on decent sound system, like not at work. And then once COVID hit, that was when I really started investing in, I upgraded like my interface to like UAD, like Apollo Twin Thunderbolt, which is, I mean, that's been a game changer personally. And then I finally like got a non-USB microphone. And yeah, I think they just kind of like, shout out to RE20 for that one.
Yeah. We're going to name this episode the RE20 episode.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's inside joke, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I do think that COVID, has just made it apparent how important it is for every musician, audio engineer, just to have a home setup. I think it's an obligation for every musician now. It was before COVID hit, and now it's like, it's just like, okay, it's so in your face that everybody needs one. It's just part of being a musician in 2020.
Yeah, I know like multiple musicians who like Exactly. Like I know it's funny because one of the first classes that because we have this program now called Wham Everywhere, which is like every week we host a different online class just via Zoom. That's like free for our members and people can like tune in. And one of the first ones we did was home recording 101 because we kind of realized it was going to be a necessity for people to know how to set up a home studio and like all the pieces of equipment you need and like what and kind of like where to put your money depending on what you're planning on using it for. And I know so many musicians who have had to like record themselves for the first time during COVID because it's like they're in the midst of these projects and like the creativity doesn't stop. You just need to and I mean that's kind of what happened with us. It's like I mean we weren't going to put the EP on hold just because we couldn't physically be in the same room, so we needed to we both knew how to like engineer and do all that stuff. It was just like finding like teaching ourselves how to do it remotely and coming up with that setup. That was kind of the big, I guess, learning curve for us to deal with, which I mean, honestly, I don't think I would change anything about that setup. I think that's going to be my entire, even when like shelter in place, even like the entire pandemic thing is lifted, I still think on days that neither of us want to drive 2.5 hours, we're still going to work this way because we both have like legit home setups and these great resources. So it's like, I mean, the only I guess kind of thankfully the only thing that can't really be replicated is like playing together live. So
sure.
I mean, like I know there are ways, but I'm kind of those ones I'm kind of like a little more reticent about because that's something I just kind of enjoy doing. It's like getting in a room together and like
totally
playing and off each other.
You're making me I recently listened to a podcast episode. There's a podcast called Switched on Pop, which I think is produced by Vox now, and they had an interview with I don't know if you know of Jacob Collier. He's like a British
I'm familiar.
He's like a genius. He's like a Mozart kind of our generation, but like with modern music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was saying how he like literally shipped a microphone and Logic to somebody he wanted to collaborate with and just ran their session kind of how you were doing with like the Audio Mover stuff to like literally just record the other person like who didn't have a setup. And also he did a lot, which you're making me think of also, is he did these live streams on Instagram with Chris Martin of Coldplay and someone else. And he literally because we don't have the technology to play live without latency.
Right.
He's such a genius. He figured out how to play like ahead of the beat, like how to like play rushed so that it would be perfectly in time when Chris Martin sang along with him. So you think that he has the technology that nobody has, and no, it's just his brain is light years ahead of technology. Yeah.
I think he did one of those live streams with JoJo. I think was one of the ones that was like the one that I caught. And
could be, yeah,
because she was doing. I don't know if she still is, but there was a period of time where she was doing like live streams every single day. But like, and she would oftentimes like have like other people come on. She would like collaborate and like perform with them. But yeah, it's like I mean, latency is real, like for sure.
We're gonna reminisce about the beginning of the COVID days before it became a new normal, when everyone was locked in place and everyone was like seeing all these wonderful things on the internet, and before life was just like this weird new thing that we're dealing with. Yeah.
I feel like the novelty of a lot of it's kind of worn off, where it's gone from like, oh, this is a cool like new innovation that we're doing to like, no, this is literally the way things are now. Like, like,
so do you have any practices to stay fresh and creative in the studio space?
I mean, I think it helps because I just have so many different interests and influences to go off of. I'm never fully satisfied with, I mean, I won't say never. Like, I mean, I've kind of gotten to the point where it's like, I mean, for example, with this EP, like, I'm thrilled to have it out. It's like I think it's a perfect amalgamation of what this year and a half has been. But I feel like for a lot of times for myself personally, I'm kind of constantly wanting to push myself. So like I'll just and I think because I have so many sort of, I guess, personal like tools and resources at my disposal, I'll just kind of zone in on something I want to get better at. Because there's been like years of my life I've dedicated just to like kind of focusing on